Good morning. With the help of the Wayback Machine, I'm able to bring you some comparisons today for the strategic plan. If you recall, Eureka's strategic plan is effectively one sheet of paper. The first page had a large graphic, then it had a letter, and in the middle it had a listing of some mission, vision, and values. But the strategic plan itself was contained in 3 columns on the back side of a trifold pamphlet. That's all of it. And I want you to see why that alarms me. So we're going to start with the comparison that I made such a big deal about in my last video, Knox College. All right, the first thing I'm going to point out is this is what I was encountering initially. If you were to search Knox College strategic plan, you're going to get a number of links indicating that it was there at some point in time. Send us your feedback, Knox 2008-18 strategic plan. Let's take a moment and talk about this. The college asked the world for feedback. Now, ideally, they would get students and teachers and prospective students to give them their view. But they put it out on the computer for anyone to see. They welcomed any and all input. That's important. They're taking information when crafting and reviewing their plan. That's a big deal. You can go down to a few different links, and you will see more information for the strategic plan right here. Knox strategic plan. You'll see this is from Issue, so we know it's a magazine or a PDF of some kind. I want to show you that. It says Strategic Plan 2018. This is what they used for a couple years, and they were in the process of redoing their strategic plan. I'll tell you that this is not the plan. This is marketing material for the plan. Obviously, this is done with production in mind. They expect the world to see it, and they want it to look good. So there's a discussion of the school on the front page, goal 1 and 2. Each goal has a list of some high points, strategic priorities, and on the last page, goal 3. This is marketing material. What I'm going to show you next comes from the Wayback Machine. I believe it was saved. This page was saved from the end of last year, November of 2023. If you were to navigate to the section on our leadership, you would be able to see Knox 2022 and Knox 2018 strategic plan. We start with a letter, right? We talked about that before. A letter is not a strategic plan, but it helps us decide where to go. We have the strategic plan. We have the background and process. Knox is taking the time to tell us how they did it. That's important. Steering committee and volunteers. They're telling us who was primarily responsible for crafting it. I don't see any of this in Eureka's strategic plan. And then again, send us your feedback. So after we get through this letter, and we see that here on the first page, let's go to these goals. Recall from that pamphlet or that circular I just showed you, it had 3 main goals. It's reduced those here to different links. Advance Knox's distinct approach to liberal learning. And again, this is archived, but only a couple months ago. So now we have strategic priorities. I want to point out that within the plan itself, look at this, our progress. The plan, the large plan, was initially crafted in 2018. However, they have continued to work with the plan, and they are listing the progress they are making as a school toward their goals. And this is not a minor thing. And I'll point out as well, this web page is also a summary of the larger plan. So they wanted new majors, they've added new majors. But down here, read the entire Goal 1 progress report. Knox College put time, a great deal of time, into formulating a plan and deciding how to present it to the world. And so we've gone through a number of different marketing materials, or a number of different marketing materials and summaries to get here. And apparently this part was an archive, but I'll tell you that this is a very detailed report. I'm going to slide over here real quick just to see if it's different than that 3-page or 4-page circular. No, it is not. Okay. Again, we're using an archived website, but it's better than nothing. So our progress. Now, this is also, these are updates, progress reports for individual points within the strategic plan. They're trying to advance Knox's approach to liberal learning. That's over here on the left-hand side in the ribbon. And if you were to pull up the 4-page circular, you would see individual points associated, strategic priorities associated with this goal. What we're looking at here is a list of updates for the strategic priorities within a goal. So this is going to get detailed. And another strategic point: establish ourselves as a national leader in providing circular and co-curricular programs, yada yada, and then our progress. This is important. One of the things I noticed in Eureka's strategic plan was this reference: national leader, or be recognized as a national leader in something. It's a very broad concept. In strategic planning, often uses large concepts like that. If you've ever done a Bible study or heard individuals give a sermon, one of the common topics is how to interpret what you read. This is a comparison here. It connects. And at least this is common in my studies, the concept that you have to let Scripture interpret Scripture. You let the text do its own interpretation first. And a strategic plan is similar in that you're going to find various language, different language, and large language, like become a national leader. But you have to let the strategic plan interpret itself so we know what we're talking about. Eureka's plan is too short to give us any real context in that area. We don't know necessarily what they mean or how they intend to get there. Knox College is saying they want to be a national leader, but wait, there's more. They're telling us how they're approaching that goal. We have numbers, we have specific grants, we have, again, a larger progress report, which likely won't be an active link in this archived website, but you can see there is a lot of material, a lot of depth here. And if you were to go down, you'd see more information like that. I'm going to go back up and show you the second goal. It'll have its own webpage: engage our diverse, vibrant campus community. And you're going to see the same type of information, individual strategic priorities with their own updates since the plan went into place 5-6 years ago. We have, again, progress reports for these individual priorities and a great deal of information here. Again, I'd encourage you, if you had time, to go look through the Wayback Machine. But one of the reasons I'm going through this so quickly is so you can see the sheer volume of content in this particular strategic plan, the amount of time and effort they put into creating a direction for the school. The last goal I'll show you just so you can see. It's the same thing. Their third goal with strategic priorities and progress reports, all with links to active pages describing what these events are, what they're doing, and how they advance the school in this plan. Let's go to background and process. Again, I think this is just wonderful. When I'm looking for a strategic plan, this school has left nothing to the imagination, nothing at all. So we have here, again, another letter describing what they're doing, and I'm going to see if I can find it. At one point, they listed out the individuals who were involved in it, so maybe that website had changed. Let's go through framing questions. That wasn't archived. Steering committee and volunteers. Maybe this is where we're going to find the faces, names and faces of those involved. Exactly. So in 2018, the steering committee involved all of these people. We're talking about deans, administrators, professors, and then I believe we also have additional. See, this is one of those things where I'm kind of digesting it as I'm talking to you. This is part of the strategic plan, and so all of these individuals have, essentially, for lack of a better description, different committees they're a part of, dealing with different areas, different responsibilities within the plan, providing a 21st century education, and we have a number of different positions there, engaging the Knox community. Again, this is a strategic plan, and the volume of work, the volume of material is exhaustive. And you can tell that they really worked on this. Supporting 21st century faculty and staff, sustaining Knox financially. All these individuals are devoted to figuring out how the school will survive financially. That's their whole goal. That's their committee assignment. And you can see names and positions. There is absolutely nothing like this in Eureka's strategic plan. There's no way to gauge its validity, at least not by assessing who participated in its preparation, because we just don't know. So that is steering committee, and send us your feedback. I'll just note this. It was discussed on our Facebook page a few times, trying to figure out what rules the trustees are trying to follow, what rules the administrators are trying to uphold, and we couldn't find active bylaws. Knox College puts them on the website. So not only can you see the strategic plan where they're going, you can see the rules, the internal rules they have to abide by. Again, the sheer volume here is incredible. So you can do a full analysis of Knox College. Even if this isn't available on their website right now, they must be going through some kind of revision. At one point, this was all right here. So I hope you can appreciate that, and again, compare everything we just looked at with Eureka's strategic plan, understanding that their entire plan is one page produced on Microsoft Word. Okay, when I was looking at this before, I pulled a few strategic planning documents from schools that were similar size. I didn't go through a deep analysis trying to find someone who was, or a school that was exactly like us. My main priority was making sure that I wasn't comparing a school of 500 students to a massive state school with tens of thousands of students, right? There's a completely different level of resources there, and I tried to make it somewhat similar, but no, this isn't some deep academic dive to find a comparison. I found some schools that were similar in size, and I was able to locate a strategic planning document. We can look through those briefly. Again, just to make a comparison to what you see from Eureka and why it's so concerning. Beacon College, this is one with a similar size. Obviously, it's not going to be a perfect comparison, but one of the reasons I chose this document was because it is a total of 6 pages, right? Eureka College has 1 page. This school has 6. Notice that but for the graphic at the top of the page, on the first page, the school wasted no time, no space on a large graphic for the title page. This is about content. And even here, there's a great deal of information for us to digest. Now, one thing I want to note is that this school put out a smaller strategic plan, but this is not the foundational document for the 2021 to 2025 strategic plan for Beacon College. If I can find the reference here, I'll tell you that this is clearly building on a larger strategic plan that was done previously. Here it is, the last sentence. So they did a strategic plan, but it's more of an update. This reality served as the very foundation of Beacon's strategic plan from 2016 to 2020 and is the bedrock of its successor, Institutional Guide, the Strategic Plan of Beacon College 2021 to 2025. So, number one, we see that this strategic plan is a living, breathing document. Number one, they're updating. Number two, builds on work they've done in the past. So if the school decides to have a less robust strategic plan today, know that they can connect to and build upon what they've done in the past, and they make that very clear at the beginning. That's far less concerning for me than a standalone one-page document, right? If Eureka College had done strategic planning, say from 2012 to 2018 or 2013 to 2018, and the one-page document built on that plan, it would be significantly less of a concern. But everything we see suggests it is a standalone plan that builds on nothing. It stands on its own, and there's almost no material in it. I'll let you look through this at your leisure if you'd like. Beacon College, you can find this on the internet. All right, the next college plan we're going to look at is Rosemont. Again, I'm not going to do a deep dive on what they've decided here or what they're pursuing, but I want you to see the plan. The first thing is, of course, presentation. We've talked about this, I think, with all of them. This school obviously cares what people think about the final product. Not that graphics are everything, but they took time to find some font that looks nice and appropriate. Strategic planning overview. There is a consistent theme. The president gave us an introductory letter, but considering we have 12 pages here, it's obviously less space overall than what was done in Eureka College's strategic plan. We have history. We have vision statements. We talked about that. You kind of always have to have mission, vision, and values in a plan. We have the priorities, 1, 2, and I believe there are 5. Nope, there are 4. And each of them have individual goals. Now, I'll tell you, this almost reads more like marketing material than a full plan. However, if I'm going to be gracious to them, this was prepared in 2021 and 2022, and it's shooting for 2026. So we're looking at a plan that is on the front end, right? Here we go. When the planning process launched in September of 2022, the strategic planning team shared a detailed and ambitious schedule to inform this work. So this is one of those areas where I want you to focus on what we have here. This plan is telling us that they used a larger planning process to create this. What does that mean? It means they had meetings. It means most likely they kept records of those meetings, and they accepted numbers and things. It's very clear that there was a process. Now, I don't know this school, and maybe the process was deficient, but at least talking to the world, they're trying to reassure us that they've put in the work. In the future, you would like to see a school like this do a review and update their plan. Okay, now let's do a little recap. In grading, since we're talking about education, if I were to give Knox College a grade for a strategic plan, that's what we saw. That's an A+, right? That's the student who goes above and beyond what the assignment asks. Knox's plan is detailed. It is extensive. It provides us not only their goals, where they want to go. They give us reasonable and measurable markers. They give us a progress report, and each strategic point within a goal has its own progress report. They give us a bylaw, so not only do we see where we want to go, we see the rules they have to follow to get there. A+ for Knox. Beacon College It's really difficult to grade because it connects to a previous strategic plan, but looking at what they have to work with, it's a comfortable B because they're only working with 6 pages, and so they immediately focus on content. It's not that the presentation is bad. They just realize that it was 6 pages. They're not going to give you a bunch of graphics. That Rosemont College strategic plan, it's probably a C. I mean, it certainly gets an A for presentation, but the substance is less so than I would like in a strategic plan. It serves the purpose. It looks nice. It's just not going to provide as much direction as we would like. Now, one thing to keep in mind is I may have found marketing material for Rosemont strategic plan like I found marketing material for Knox, and Knox was backed up with all the substance. Eureka College, let's be clear. It has 1 page produced on an old form of Microsoft Word or Publisher. It uses language like National Leader, provides almost no substance. As best I can tell, it hasn't been updated in years. Literally, it references goals from 1, 2, or 3 years in the past, if I recall, that obviously haven't come to pass. It's horrible, right? So this is where you give someone an F. If you can give someone an F for strategic planning, Eureka College gets an F. And you want to use hyperbole, I would give it an F- if I could. Considering this is a video on YouTube, why not? We'll give it an F-. That's problematic for me and hopefully some of you to stress the point. We've talked about it on the Facebook page. Eureka College has high turnover in its administration and its leadership. We see looming numbers with enrollment. Some of the financial information we're seeing is concerning, including from endowment funds, what makes up those endowment funds, and how they are collecting tuition or aid, and whether or not that even covers operations. If they had a plan that we could digest, a plan that was halfway decent, maybe we could feel better about it, but the plan gives us absolutely no security, frankly. I'll tell you that if I were working in a class, a high school class, or a lower level college course on business planning and strategic planning, what we saw or what we see in Eureka's plan, I'd expect something like that. 1 page, a graphic on the front, a few random priorities. You mix in some proposals that have little connection to reality, right? That's a student assignment, a low-level student assignment. It is not something to guide an institution of higher learning, especially not through what we see as the coming enrollment cliff of 2025. So why am I making this video? Why are others commenting on the page? Because we think there's a place for Eureka. We think there's a future for it. It has unique characteristics and unique things to offer students. For those of us who graduated from Eureka, we like it. We think it's a good thing. If this were an endeavor where we thought there wasn't a future, well, maybe we'd go home and we wouldn't do it. But I think there is a future. And so that starts, in this case, why I'm talking about it, it starts with recognizing that the school needs a plan.